What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to The Climb. Joining me once again this week is the lovely Solo Bolo King Brissy. Welcome back, sir. How are you doing?
Hello, hello. I am happy to be back. Array and Venom, they're always great hosts, but I like being on the climb the most. So
Oh, ooh, okay, some little bias, but joining us this week, um, has is a returning co-host from season 1 of The Climb, Mr. Triple P. Welcome, sir. How are you doing?
Hello. Good, I'm doing good.
So you did.
Good to be back.
It's good to be back. Totally not biased, and I would have had you on last season, but it was just we were just gonna have way too much. Why am I blanking
Too
on
much
her name?
team glazing.
Yeah, too much team glazing.
TA.
Yeah, TA. Yeah, oh yeah,
TA.
the academy.
The
Yeah,
academy.
yeah. We
nobody wanted to hear it. Nobody wanted
I
to
was
hear it. We
just-
get enough talk about mid too easy this season. I mean, I don't know.
yeah. Well, I'm not on his team, so I can't glaze him. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I could still glaze him, but it's not like
Yeah.
because I'm on his team. So, but yeah, you guys, same team, Ganking Private Ryan. You guys got your first win this week as well. So congrats on that. We'll talk a little bit
Thank you.
about that.
Thank you. Felt good.
Appreciate it.
A little bit about that here in a bit. But yeah, it was pretty good, guys. So you guys are facing off. Let me see who you're facing off. I can't remember who you're facing off. Oh, that's right. Ship Without a Captain. You guys,
Yep,
are you guys
upcoming,
cooking
yep.
up something?
Well, I'm going against one of my former teammates in Fleas, the Fleeker. So, yeah, I guess I'm cooking up something there. I said when we were scheduling it and we got it confirmed, I said, "See you in the bot lane." But
Oh, okay.
I don't necessarily mean I'm playing ADC. I just maybe I'm camping her. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah. No, I can definitely see it. But let's head into the games, the series. So week 3 is officially over. Let's just start off with the easy one, clean one. SWC, Ship Without a Captain versus the Gauntlet. SWC unfortunately FF'd the series. I got told by Fleas herself, and she said, yeah, we actually had to FF. I don't know the circumstances, but it's unfortunate.
Two members were not available.
Ah, okay, that makes sense.
You can only have one sub, so
Brissy is
Bummer.
very upset of the situation.
Yeah, man. I was robbed of a 5-0 week in predictions. I mean, yes.
wait, who did
know,
you predict, Prissy?
I
Ship Without a
predicted
Captain.
Ship Without a Captain to take this
Well,
one.
I think
They've
you would have been wrong anyway. So
Well, I got a lot of faith in Borla. Unfortunately, I do not have a lot of faith in Borla coming into this next week. I'm hoping Never Saw just puts on a clinic, and then we'll go back to predicting Ship Without a Captain to win some games
Yeah.
after.
Okay.
Hey, there we go. That's how
Yeah.
you do it.
Yeah, I respect it. But let's go into the rest of the games. And I'm going to be honest, it was a very competitive week. 3 out of the 4 games that got played went to all 3 games. So it was a pretty good competitive week. So starting off, Asteria's Kittens versus Cyberbullies, one where I don't think should have went to 2 games, but I digress. Game 1, Dunk replaced Briz during a suspension. Alturas unretires. It was exciting to see him come back. He did lose though, so what does that have to say? Is he washed?
So, if you listen to the official stream, because that was the official cast, which Brissy was actually on.
Yep, me and
Brissy
Gamer
returning to the
Destroyer.
cast. One, follow the summoner's code, please. Don't get tooey. And 2, there was a joke, but I don't know if it was a joke about Alturas unretired and he performed so badly that he's no longer friends with anybody on Asteria's Kittens. So
Yeah, they booted him
during that
just
game 1. So they booted him. No, Asteria was working.
Yeah.
For game 1. So what are you gonna do?
But I mean, I think Alturas played fine. I think there was, definitely a couple misplays because Array did have a lead in like the early stages of the game, but just mid too easy and Dunk just were able to take their leads that they gained on their lanes and just able to transition through them. I will say OT Gator had a very dominant performance on the Viego this game. And honestly, I think the whole series, he did an incredible job. I think game 2, he kind of fumbled the bag, but still played incredibly well. And then game 3, in my opinion, was just mid too easy, popping off. And yeah, that's pretty much. Game 2, LeBlanc Array, that thing was dangerous. I was not expecting
that.
that.
Was disgusting watching that.
That him and Asteria in the bot lane, just the amount of kill pressure that Array had around the map, and the fact that he got that early dark seal like he attempted to do in game 3, which didn't really work out as well in a way. But game 2, the guy's LeBlanc was unstoppable, and he basically solo carried it. But Asteria performed incredibly well as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then not just the LeBlanc, but the LeBlanc with the Orianna.
Mm-hmm.
It was there were some insane combos there, Sparks and Array.
And the delivery system.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure the LeBlanc got banned out for game 3. So
it did. It got banned out, and yeah, and then mid too easy got the first pick the Corki, I should say, and then proceeded to go like 13-0 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
A very dominant performance.
Well, not even that. It was the Corki is one thing, but also there was the unfortunate they slammed the R5 Riven into
right.
Mundo.
Yeah, the game 3 draft.
I heard that was a miscommunication because there's like no sane scenario where you pick Riven into Dr. Mundo top lane willingly.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So I've heard that from the teammates themselves that it was
Gotcha.
miscommunication. So that certainly didn't help. Kind of Dunk having a free lane, and then just free scaling. Like nobody could match him. That made Mid2 Easy's life a lot easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, across all 3 games, both of these teams were incredibly aggressive. You saw really early on, Agu was just fighting with Dunk game 1 on the Camille, which drew a ton of attention to the top lane. But I mean, I'm gonna give Agu credit where it's due. Dunk being, top 2 strongest top laners last season. Granted, I mean, he could have been rusty, but the performance on the Poppy against the Aatrox, super strong early, and then the unfortunate draft of game 3 just kind of allowed Dunk to do whatever he wanted on Mundo. I think that both of these teams are super strong going, deeper into the season, but seeing 2 really early aggressive plays across the map in all 3 of the games was really fun to watch.
Yeah, and Cyberbullies did only get 2 points for this game, so they do officially drop down to that second position in Pool A, and Asteria Skins did get that point, so they are now third, sitting at 4 points. So we're gonna see how some of these other matchups go. As Cyberbullies technically can still get first, but they need Dognitas to only get 2 points from 1 game. Pretty much.
Or Cyberbullies could beat them.
Or yes. If they go, no, because technically Dognitas can technically still get it if for some reason Cyberbullies don't do well against CryPTID, but I don't see that happening.
I don't see them losing 0-2 to CryPTID. To be honest.
I agree.
Okay, anyway,
but we'll move on to the game of the week, in my opinion. Not because there's 2 players, not because there's 2 players in the VC right now. Ganking Private Ryan versus CryPTID. Game 1. All I gotta say is the man above me. I'm pointing the camera.
Yeah.
Triple P popped off 76% KP in this game. Going around the map.
Jarvan was
the Jarvan was insane.
So good.
Never saw Vossler getting a quadra kill with Ryan's assistance, and honestly, after that, it was locked up for game 1. CC only had 3 kills, by the way, in that game. So,
I think Vossler had more kills on our team than the entirety of CryPTID combined in game 1.
Yumi carries.
As Yumi.
Yumi
As
carries.
Yumi.
Yeah, as Yumi.
And then game 2, I think
We
it
don't
just.
talk about game 2.
Yeah, it
Whoa!
didn't happen.
I get to talk about game 2. You don't have to. But I
The
think
drafting of a
I honestly
full
think
AD team into the Volibear.
I think it came down to like just objective control. Honestly, I mean the draft was not great.
Yeah. We got beat up early.
So,
Absolutely.
but yeah, Volibear just able to go around the map. The only thing CC didn't get was just 3 grubs and the Rift Herald. And it was Mountain Soul, so they were just so hard to kill for you guys. And honestly, I think it was you guys just had a little bit too much confidence,
Definitely.
Going into game 2. Yeah, so
Definitely.
I definitely could feel it. I was like, a lot of these plays they're going for, it makes me feel like you guys are just like, yeah, we're way better than them, but did not work out. And then finally, game 3, honestly, it was kind of a reversed. Pretty much like game 2, objective control by ganking Private Ryan, CC on the other on the receiving end. I don't know how to speak very well, but yeah. And then PvP Ryan never saw playing well, and Brissy and Vossler just being an incredibly great supporting cast in this game. Brissy, I think you didn't even die this game. You think you went 2-2?
I did not die this game.
Yeah, so and I think Vossler died once, but played.
It's funny
played
you bring that
crazy.
up because I think we were, I don't know, it's maybe like 20 minutes into the game.
I remember this. I remember this, Christian.
Never saw PPP start pinging the enemy's fountain because we were like, we've all died. You know what you have to do, Brissy.
You know what you have to do, Brissy.
But I did not end up dying that game.
Really?
One thing that I thought was really really cool about that game was there was a big fight going on in top lane where there was 3 of us kind of popping in and out of the tier 1 tower top lane, holding them from backing while Ryan and Neversaw just took like 2 towers and two inhib can't speak 2 inhib towers and 2 inhibs. So basically just like clearing out their base while we're holding them top lane. It's super fun. I think the comms on our team were really good that game. I think PPP and Neversaw are starting to come into their own and being able to work with each other a lot better. So I hope to see that continue going in deeper into the season.
For sure. Yeah, and Triple E, you got any thoughts on your series?
Yeah, so ultimately, I think game 1 was just, like, really phenomenal. I mean, I think I kind of entered my, like, Goku era or something. And I was just, like, well, not even that, just, like, getting these really good outplays and somehow living. But then also, like, whoever, Angry Enchilada is their top laner for Code Cryptid. He didn't learn his lesson. Like, he got ganked. I would do Rift Herald or I would do Grubs. And he'd still be pushed up, and I would just be like, "All right, Brissy, you ready for another gank?"
Yeah.
And also, Brissy on Jax, like, we're gonna see more Brissy carries.
Okay.
I'm telling him.
Thank you.
I will say, Brissy, the one time you got ulted under tower, I was like, "Hang on, Angry Enchilada's cooking here. He's cooking."
I really miscalculated the timing on the Gragas ult because he had used it, I don't know, like a minute and a half previously. On getting away from a PPP gank. So I figured that I maybe had a few seconds to jump in and get an auto, but the second I got onto him, the barrel exploded and I was stuck under tower.
But I think definitely, people are underestimating the fact that, my man Brissy can, play carry. Well, he can play Jax. We're working on the other carries, but
yeah, it felt good to be able to perform after the week 1 and week 2 matches because those weren't good experiences. So doing some work.
After the game 2, me trolling, basically single-handedly throwing our objective control after we like opened up their inhibitor and all that stuff. Like I said, all right, guys, no more Lee Sin for this season. So.
Yeah, I left that off of my notes. I just wasn't even gonna bring it up. I think a lot of people were talking about it after game 2.
Yes. And then game 3, I kind of just got a good start just because I got first blood on Graves, and then, I mean, it was just the Neversaw Vossler show. Just in the bot lane.
Was you
and Ryan got his Talia. So, I mean, just Code Cryptid's not the strongest opponent theoretically and just like numerically, but I think it's a good start for us.
Yeah, I think and congrats to Code Cryptid for getting their first point of the season. So yes, they may have not won the series, but they did get some points, and that's what matters. Is every point kind of matters. So we'll kind of see what kind of Code Cryptid will do into the next coming weeks. Their next two opponents, so they play Asteria's Kittens and then Cyberbullies to finish it out. So not very easy opponents, but we'll see how they face off against Asteria's Kittens. I'm not sure on how they're gonna do it yet, but I guess we'll see. But I do think Cyberbullies they will struggle with. But when in doubt, everyone makes it to the playoffs. So try to figure out what works, what doesn't work in the next 2 weeks. Whether you're red or blue side, just figure out what works and try to improve on that in the next couple weeks. Is kind of my advice for Code Cryptid at this moment. But let's move on to our next series, Conflict of Interest versus BTS. And wow, what was that 5-role swap in game 1? It was
too much.
It was so let's see. It was a Gamer D top, Lord Tubbyton
played
Juggle.
Poppy Top. Shout out Gamer D playing Poppy Top. He had a horrible time into the TF.
Yeah, he did. Lord Tubbyton Jungle, Pyrosis mid, Nightmare in ADC, and Strain in the support. So, I mean, you technically have 2 players that are in their main role, quote-unquote, that we know of. Pyrosis is mid laner, and Nightmare is an ADC player, so we kind of got to see them back. But, honestly, I think just BTS just wasn't just full control of this game. All I really have for this game 1 is just the 5-role swaps, because that's the only thing I could think of during this game.
It showed.
I mean, theoretically on paper, I think it's fine. But not into this team. Like, if you have Sprinkler, who's like basically one of the best top laners in Summit right now.
Yep.
And you put Gamer Destroyer up there, a guy who, is used to having somebody to support him, even if he's the support, just having another person in that lane, like, and it's the long lane, like,
playing
you don't know how to play against that. Like, you're not going to have fun. We already know Sprinkler is person who plays ranged top laner, as we saw the Bane. Like, so.
Well, from that series, it looked like that guy can play anything.
Yeah. And he played the Jace as well in the next couple games as well, so which is like a mix, I guess, but yeah, moving on, game 2. Guys, all right, let's hear your guys' guess.
And Kindred.
Can you
never
guess
let Nightmare get Kindred ever again?
What champion Nightmare will no longer be getting the rest of the season? Drumroll, please. Kindred. Bro was like 13-2 or something like that by the end of the game. Yeah, he was
15-4.
15-4. Yeah, so I was close. He was unstoppable this game. Like, just making plays happen around the map, getting kills, and overall just playing in a zone. Honestly, like, I don't know why he did not just do that game 1. But
they Conflict of Interest had a crazy good Baron fight in this game. That kind of sealed the deal for him, and it just, if you go back and watch it, because you could only see this through Nightmare's point of view. I believe, at least as far as I know, he was the only one who streamed the game.
also streamed it, so you could see.
Okay.
But
yeah,
I know what fight you're talking about.
Perfect like spacing and just like teamwork in that team fight by Conflict of Interest, and it ended up winning them that game, which was super cool.
Yeah, they were like honestly switching everyone out. Like Gamer D would be in front or Camille would be in front, and then like they just switch back and forth, and they played it so clean and so smooth. I mean, they did have a Nightmare, and I think Lord Tubbyton also died, but they just played the team fight so well, and yeah, I mean, another thing about game 2 is I just want to shout out to Strain and Gamer D for playing extremely well with the MF and the Seraphine. The ults were crazy. Seraphine ults are one of the craziest things to me still. He's like, hey, you want to see me ult all the way to your base from my base? Yeah, here, watch this. Boo, boo, boo. And he just like extending it. Um, yeah, and then game 3, BTS had a very strong lead in the early game, but then they kind of threw it away. CUI did come back. Um, um, who's in the bot lane? I'm blanking. Strand. That's who it is. Strand and Gamer D again. I was blanking there for a second. I thought I was gonna say Neversaw and Vossler because we were just talking about them. But Strand and Gamer D played an exceptionally well game again. Got the Seraphine again, and I think it was Seraphine Ash if I'm not mistaken. So, and then honestly, in my opinion, I think CUI's team fight is the best team fight we've seen this whole season. I don't know if it's all of Summit, but they definitely have some of the best team fights I've seen throughout the season so far. Brissy, let's hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, we already talked about the early game, but the fact that Conflict of Interest had such a good prediction on that invade, it honestly looked like it should have ended in more kills. But PTS played a really strong contest in the early game on a lot of the objectives, which kind of allowed them to keep COI out of taking a lead in that game. But the nail in the coffin was a super good engage by Pyrosis on Aurelia that caught out, I believe, Sprinkler and someone else in that mid lane, which just allowed them to quickly push down and win the game. But listening to the comms when that happened was super cool, because I mean, Pyrosis is insanely good at the game. So hearing him immediately make that call and seeing the rest of the team follow up as quickly as they did was really cool.
Triple B, any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, Pyrosis is a pretty good shot caller, and obviously having Conflict of Interest, it's a very familiar team, in the sense that everyone on that team basically knows each other, and nobody's going to question orders, nobody's going to question capabilities. In terms of like the best team fighting team, when we get to the next match, I can talk about it, but they're probably second place in terms of like team fighting, and obviously they just have clutch players, and rock solid bot lane. Like you give Strand, you give Steven the misfortune, like it was the misfortune J4 bot lane for us last season, but like it's misfortune Seraphine, like stuff like that they can just combo. That is, I don't want to say brain dead, but it's very easy to execute. And nothing to say against Strand's mechanics, like he's good mechanically too, but it's just a lot easier to put simplify things if you don't need to complicate them.
Yep, absolutely.
I think like speaking of Strand, I just think like while he may be a low ranked player, his knowledge about the game is very expansive. He knows a lot of different things about the game, but he just does not play rank because he's PhD diff.
PhD diff. Yep. PhD jail every time last season. Steven, you want to practice? No, I'm in jail.
No, I'm in jail. But no, I love Steven. I actually. I'll
poke a little fun at Strand.
Ooh.
You can ask him in game 1 if Alistar's ult can clear him of CC. Because there was toward the end of that game, as they were getting pushed into their base, you get in Nightmare's POV, he's like, you gotta use your ult to cleanse yourself of that CC, because he's just like CC locked, he flashes away, gets CC locked again. It was really funny to see.
That's funny.
I remember that. I do remember.
Or Steven. Listen, he's not a support player. We already learned that last season.
Yeah.
The one time he got put on Nautilus duty, it was not pretty.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But anyway, on to the next one, I guess.
Yeah. And our last series, we're going through this quick, but that's all right. Our last series, Feeders Anonymous versus Dognitas. I don't have a whole lot in this series just because it was a really clean 2-0 by Dognitas. I mean, game one, it was pretty back and forth, but Loco Poco on the Camille, that was clean. He was just able to take over the game and get stuff done. He ended like 10-4, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere around there. I think everyone else played extremely well. Nico had a great game, early lead in the bot lane as well. And then finally game two, Dognitas just pretty much had full control of this game. I don't know why I put FA in my notes, but Feeders Anonymous. I don't really know how to say nice things about Feeders Anonymous yet because I haven't really seen them play as a team. I've really only seen them play as like 5 random players, and then if they do well, oh, okay, maybe just luck. You know, I'm getting a lot of solo queue vibes, honestly. So, but
Yeah, it's funny. Funny you bring that up. Gamer D actually made a similar comment on the cast with Gar. Was that he was curious as to what the comms on Feeders Anonymous are like, and if it's just the echoes of David sighing over and over again.
Oh no! Oh no! I thought they were gone. They've returned.
well,
Oh man,
that's the thing though. Is like who on this team is like the voice sort of thing? Because so you have DB4P, Dark Juice, Flash of Night, Callista, and Azure Thing. So in my opinion, the two people that need to be calling out are Callista or David. And so I don't know. We don't have like a point of view for this team, and we don't have voice comms. But I would guess like David's like the main shot caller. But who knows? So I just don't think Dark Juice has it in him. I think he'd be like, "Hey, can I go for this?" But I don't think he's like very vocal in that type of thing. I think Ben is kind of in the same boat where he'll try to shot call, but he's not the most effective at it. And then I don't know a whole lot about Azure Thane. I know he has played in previous seasons, but I don't really know a whole lot about him.
So he was actually my sort of my coach, I guess.
Oh.
When I was in Aegis, but their last their winter into spring split. Before I left that team, he was actually the one who really helped me a lot with support. He kind of I like to say he beat me with a belt, but so I would not be surprised if he was like one of the big shot callers. But in that sense, I Flash of Night can have opinions about like shot calling, and obviously DV as the highest elo player on that team probably wants to also shot call. Maybe it's not that they don't have any voices or too little. Maybe it's they have too many voices. Again, I'm speculating because I don't think any of these people actually stream their matches. I believe. I could be mistaken.
Not that I know
But
of.
in terms of just like synergy, yeah, they're just not coming together. Callista yourself and Azure just aren't working together. They're just having trouble. Maybe there's like some miscommunication there. Dark Juice, bless his soul, I think he's just struggling a little bit. He can only do so much. And then DV, I think he's really slumping right now. He's on these tank picks, and then previous weeks he played Olaf and he just was not doing well. So I don't know if he's rusty or whatever is going on, but it's I don't see a whole lot of potential there for Feeders Anonymous, even if they go to playoffs. Something needs to change. I don't know.
Okay.
But and then on Dognitas in this match, even though they were playing against Feeders Anonymous, who theoretically is probably a bottom tier team in that group, I think Dognitas, their team fighting, I think has to be the best.
Yeah,
this match,
their comms are probably the best.
Their comms,
are
Nico,
so good.
Nico and Jason, first off, Jason, I think he went 10-0 in game 2 on Kha'Zix.
He did. He had another banger series.
Jason is on demon time. This guy, I'm actually kind of scared, to face him in week 5. But
I think this guy has a very strong argument to be MVP this season. He's playing way above the bar, just dominating games, just carrying his teams in most of his games. And honestly, I would say he has a very strong argument to be MVP this season.
Yeah, this guy, I don't know if he's taking like league steroids or something, but like I remember playing against Beaver Brigade last season, and this guy Xin Zhao just didn't die, would like solo kill me, and then you just walk away. Like I'm like, what? He would just like kill my teammates and then just walk away with like 3/4 of his HP on Xin Zhao. Like I don't know how he does it. He's just playing extremely well.
He's built different.
And you know the bot lane for Dognitas as well, Nico and Korean Zach. They're doing well. Hamea actually wasn't in, it was Asuna. So the match is probably a little bit closer than it would have been with Hamea. I mean, could be speculating. Just, you know, not having that synergy and all that stuff. But and then Loki Poke, he's playing really well. And I just this is why I want to say that like Dognitas is the best team fighting team. There's like this dragon fight where kind of look back and forth, and then all of a sudden Loki Poke on Kennen just like gets a
that's like right, the Kennen
ultimate on it. Like completely wipes them. And like even though the kill score in these games was, I wouldn't say like pretty close, but it was like, you know, closer than you might expect in the matchup. It always felt like Dognitas was like the one that was always in the driver's seat. Like they just always know what to do. They're not afraid to engage. Like Nico is always just one step onto the next one, and you know Jason's doing his own thing, but somehow he makes it work. Like there's some secret magic there, I swear. And I think Dognitas has to be the best team fighting team. They're just looking really good. Until we beat them in week 5. But
okay. But the Kennen, they didn't have vision. Phoenix and Arms didn't have vision, and so he just got to TP in for free, flash over the wall, and just ult on top of 4 of them. Samira
he had a couple of really good TPs that game.
Yeah, so Loco Poco, I did my power rankings this week, and like this first time for like this season. I actually put like Loco Poco like 4th, I think, for week 3. I just think he's playing incredibly well.
Brissy number 1.
Should have been.
Brissy was not number 1.
Brissy number 1 by the end of the season.
But I think I did put Brissy like number 8. I think so, not last.
I'll take 8.
All right. There we go. Not last.
Hey, I was okay. Let's hear it, Brissy.
I have a little bit to unpack from specifically game 1, because I mean game 2 of this series was a little bit slower.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, apart from I don't really have anything to talk about in game 2 other than really good TP flanks from the Kennen. Kind of just seemed like the only kind of redeeming factor of that game would have been the Ornn, because I mean in a range matchup, David played that really well. He got a couple really early kills onto Loco, but for him to come back into the game and make those plays happen was really cool. But game 1, there was a specific gank by Dart Juice that he made that was in response to a gank that Asian Jason had top lane. But I'll talk about the top lane gank first. It was late. I think Loco went in too early for Jason to really make anything happen, but David flashed and caught Camille in a trap under tower, which was really cool because he prevented the Nocturne from getting anything out of it other than just like pushing a couple minions and crashing the wave. But he secured a kill, and so he made the most out of not so much. But the gank I'm talking about in the bot lane, Dart Juice was making a lane gank, flashes forward and W's onto a Braum under tower and takes like 2 tower shots and dies immediately. So it's like mistakes like that you cannot make against Nico. By the way, why not ban the Ashe Braum in game 2? Because of how dominant that combo is, especially when it's piloted by someone like Nico. Zach, but in Korean, played super well. I think when you have a Masters Challenger bordering ADC like that, it does make you look a little bit better. But he played Braum super well, and I think that was a big factor in them 2-0ing them was having that combo in the bot lane.
Oh my gosh, Brom.
Nico's -1 reactions are hilarious, by the way.
-1.
I don't understand why people are not banning Nico's Ashe, because I'm pretty sure he's played it in every game this season. I don't know if it's been banned or not, but I'm pretty sure like he has close to 100% pick rate on Ashe this season. So I'm surprised they're not banning that. I don't know like what bans are being banned against them. I would assume like Jason is getting some bans, and then maybe like Leona. That's about it. That's really all I can really think of. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. Dognitas is locked into this first spot now for the clean 2-0, getting that 3 points. They're now sitting at 9 points. And Feeders Anonymous still sitting at that 1 point, 5th place in Pool B. And that's actually going to wrap up this week's games. SWC, unfortunately, we're, like I said, FF, so we don't really have a whole lot to talk about that series. So let's get into predictions. Am I right?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So looking at everyone's current records, X-Ray 10-5, Brissy 11-4, Venom, Array, and special guests sitting at 12-3, and congrats to Venom and Zach from last week getting a clean 5-0 on their predictions. Congrats to those guys. I hope you guys go 0-5 this week so I can catch up.
Agreed.
So, but let's talk about the games. Ganking Private Ryan versus Ship Without a Captain. Pretty split decision. Ganking Private Ryan going for 3 of us, and Venom and Array going with Ship Without a Captain. Now, I know you guys are biased, but I still want to hear your guys' thoughts on why you guys think you are going to win. And then I'll defend Ship Without a Captain, even though I picked you guys.
Hey, Venom and Array are just haters. I don't know what else
That's
to
true.
say. But in terms of like matchups, I think Krasbuto. I wouldn't say I haven't been impressed, but I don't know if I think listen, my boy Brissy's a rock. Like I think he'll be able to handle Krasbuto. If probably not going to get a massive lead, because obviously there's a huge, quite a sizable, rank diff there.
But, a little bit.
Hey, if I gank top lane 10 times again, maybe Brissy can come out ahead. In mid lane, World Soup versus Ryan. As long as we ban Nico, I think we'll be fine. I still get traumatized by the Nico from one season.
Yes.
But I think Ryan should be able to handle it just fine. He's starting to get more familiar with the mid lane, and they better ban Talia or else.
Yeah, I actually really liked how Ryan played in his last series. I think the Galio and the Talia were incredibly strong, so props to him for doing so well. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
And then Borla, Borla probably one of the highlights of a Ship Without a Captain, but Borla flees, having to go against Neversaw, and maybe Vossler's weaker, but slam Vossler on Yuumi, and then can never die, and then Neversaw just 1v9s again. So I think just matchup wise, and then I guess the jungle, I feel like we're pretty evenly matched. There's certainly an argument to be made that Killswitch is probably better than me. And I think that's a fair argument, especially since this season I've come back to jungle, and he was the jungler for the academy last season, and he looked pretty good while Sunny Blues was out. So I guess we'll just have to see what how much the jungle could make an impact. But if that's sort of like an even effect, I think the bot lane will just kind of get steamrolled over.
Okay. Brissy, do you have any words for Krasbuto?
Oh, for Krasbuto?
It's on site.
I mean, probably going to get I've had Poppy taken away from me. I think this past week was the first time I got to play Poppy this season, which was nice. But it was the only game we lost, which kind of felt like not cool.
Not cool.
Um,
Not cool, man.
I've been putting a bit of work in just to improve my gameplay. Showed through this past week. Week 1 and week 2 never happened. So I am looking to perform for my team. I have full trust in Neversaw and Vossler in the bot lane, even though it's against Borla, who I've been vouching for all season. PPP clears and Ryan clears.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate the confidence, Prissy. I don't know if I clear, but like Ryan will do
Yeah.
pretty well. But
For my argument with SWC, I think this really comes down to Killswitch and Borla, and I guess Fleas as well. So I guess it comes down to 3 people. Because World Soup, I would say, is kind of like, that weak side mid laners type style. He doesn't really do a whole lot. He kind of just farms and looks for plays to help out his jungler. Karzbuto, I'm not really how sure he's going to play into Brissy yet. He does have that rank advantage, but, Brissy is the solo bowl king. He will get those solo kills eventually. I believe in him. Maybe it's this week. I would love to see it, actually.
I'm pretty sure. Oh, no, I didn't. It wasn't a solo bolo because Jerboas came up.
Oh, yeah, okay. But yeah, I honestly think it comes down to jungle and bot lane. If they can not let Neversaw get a crazy lead in the bot lane, I think they definitely have a chance. And then if Killswitch is able to, create a lead top side and maybe try to get something mid and then stop the bleeding from bot side, I honestly think they got a winning chance. So that's my defense for Ship Without a Captain, even though I picked Ganking Private Ryan. Go Brissy.
I mean, honestly, with Killswitch, it might even be creating a lead top. It might just be creating a lead jungle. Like Killswitch is like he plays carries, jungles, and he can play him pretty well. So, I guess I got to award my jungle, and I got to go practice my mechanics. I'm playing a lot of Swarm.
Swarm is fun. I agree. But let's move on to our next game, Cyberbullies versus Dognitas. In my opinion, the game of the week. I'm so excited for this one. The top 2 teams in Pool A are facing off. Finally, everyone picked Dognitas, but you're all going to be wrong because it's going to be a mid to easy diff.
Cope.
Yeah, I think without we talked about how good Dunk is, but I think without Dunk, this series is a bit harder for Cyberbullies.
You mean without Briz?
Sorry, without Briz, this series is a little bit harder for Cyberbullies. Because I think that Asian Jason knows how Dunk plays. He knows a bit about his weaknesses. I think they try to push that lead top lane. And I mean, Nico and Zach, but in Korean, I think clear the bot lane of I can't think of their bot lane.
Soap and Luton.
Well, it's Loyton Soap.
Luton and Soap.
Which I have a lot to say about.
Oh, yeah. So, all right. Let's hear it.
I think
so.
That...
I think Loyton and Soap, they've kind of been picking safe picks relatively like
a lot of Ezreal. Yeah.
But I think like the bot lane of Dognitas is going to absolutely slam Loyton and Soap. It's going to be not safe for work. Oh, Brissy's cat is in the background.
That's right.
It's going to be very explicit. It is going to be.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be very ugly. And then, talking about other lanes, mid to easy, yeah, maybe probably will create a lead of some sort, some regard. I think Hamea can hold his own.
It's a battle of Gator and Asian Jason.
This is what I was going to say. This is going to be the ego matchup. And I think with the way Jason's been playing, like on Super League steroids, I think Jason is also just going to slam Gator, and then once Gator becomes frustrated, he is just going to, tilt out of his mind, and the communication's going to break down. Dunk, bless his soul, but I think Cyberbullies has a better chance if Briz is here, just with the way Briz plays.
Yeah, I can see that.
So that my opinion.
But you're all wrong, because
You
it's
can cancel me for it. It's just my opinion. You can
it's-
cancel me.
it's gonna be a mid to easy diff. That's all I gotta say. I believe in the boy.
They're gonna ban Corky, and then what's your plan, Chris?
Syndra. Or Oriana.
Didn't he go 0-6
He
on
did.
Syndra or something?
He did.
Yeah,
He
okay.
gave two.
That was game 2. Game 1, though, he popped off. All right.
I don't know.
It was
I
the
don't know if I buy
LeBlanc.
this
It was the
argument.
LeBlanc. All right. It was the LeBlanc. I'm telling you.
Alright.
No, but honestly, I was looking at the main thing I was looking at is like Dunk versus Loco Poco, and I honestly think Dunk has a slight edge on Loco Poco. Jungle, I mean, I do think it's like you guys said, Jason favored. I think OT Gator though does have a chance against him. I just don't know how well he's going to be able to execute it. Mid to easy. I actually asked Mid to easy about the play-ins or like a customs, and he actually said Hamamiya. Oh my gosh, Hamea actually beat him in a customs lobby.
But you're saying it's a mid to easy diff.
Yeah, because he's now mid to easy knows what he's going into, so he
Right.
knows how to play.
I don't think this logic follows.
It's okay.
Just say you
I-
like him.
I
Just
gotta-
say you like me too.
Just say you're. A
I
simp
gotta
for
get
mid to easy.
points.
Former
All
teammate.
right, I gotta
Former
get some
teammate.
points.
You're gonna be even further behind.
False. This is where I catch
Okay,
up.
but regardless of the matchups, I think also just like the fact that I said that the Dognitas is the best team fighting team, like Nico makes a call and like everyone immediately follows it, and I feel like there maybe is a bit of clashing personalities, clashing egos on Cyberbullies. I think just Dognitas will be able to execute more effectively, even if they are slightly behind, like after laning phase.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, let's move on to our next game. Asteria's Kittens versus Code Cryptid. Pretty clear, concises. Asteria's Kittens go in the favorite here. Code Cryptid, they did win this week. They did get a game win, so they finally got their first point. But, big but, with how they have been playing, I just don't see them winning any more games, in my opinion. Because I believe, so they're playing Asteria's Kittens, and I believe next week they're playing Cyberbullies. Yeah, so it's gonna be an incredibly hard last 2 games for them to finish out the regular season. And then if, say, they do happen to, not win a game, they're facing off against I gotta scroll this way. One sec. They're either facing off against Ganking Private Ryan or Asteria's Kittens, depending on how like the rest of the season goes. And I don't think they beat either of them. So I guess we'll see. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts. PPP, let's have you start.
I think, I'm gonna be honest. I think if you keep Peachtree support, and that's how you want to roll. If you're Code Cryptid, I don't think you're winning any more games this season. I think you need to put Gawanaba on support, Peachtree jungle, or maybe Peachtree top, and Angry Enchilada go support or something. Because let's be honest, support is like you can put like any ranked player there and they'll perform just fine if you have somebody telling them what to do. Although that being said, it is Ayakben, who I'm gonna be honest, probably the weakest ADC in the league. So it's very difficult. Like he plays Caitlyn, and if Caitlyn's banned, then it's kind of a struggle. So I think what you got to do is disregard the bot lane, stem the bleeding there, hopefully, or play really safe picks, and then put somebody who can carry like Peachtree top or jungle, and then pray that you can make something happen.
Yeah, something has to change, whether it be, player swaps or, playing different champions or something like that. But something's got to change for this team if they want to see success in their near future.
Mm-hmm.
Bruce, any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, the prediction board kind of shows how I think everybody's feeling. Noah kind of summed it up pretty well. I think this team is just kind of lacking in power or strength in their solo lanes, as well as, I guess, they just need to they need to move their resources elsewhere. They need to put, like Noah said, Peach Tea somewhere other than support. I mean, you have some really strong players in Guanabon and Peach Tea. Angry Enchilada is a good player as well, but I mean, moving these resources around to account for the lack of power in your ADC role, I think should happen, especially against the matchups that they have coming up. I mean, there's a lot of strong teams in this league compared to CRYPTID. So, I mean, yeah, something's got to change.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, and going over to the last two games, the Gauntlet versus Conflict of Interest, Conflict of me and Brissy picking the right team, Conflict of Interest, and then the other two, or the other three, I should say, picking the Gauntlet. And honestly, this is actually going to be a pretty close series. I think this will go to 3 games, but I am kind of basing this off of junglers here. I think Nightmare's going to, as long as they ban Nocturne, I should say, I think Nightmare's got the edge on my hot daddy, even if he is on Nocturne.
Put some respect on my hot grandpa, okay?
My hot grandpa. And then,
Dan.
Honestly, Lord Tubby versus Setup, I'm actually really excited about this matchup to see kind of like who's better, because I think both of them have been playing extremely well. And then bot lane, I mean, it's Heiko and Boywife favored, definitely for sure.
Yeah, a little strong power coming out of that bot lane. Strand and Gamer D are gonna have, they're gonna have a game or a series coming at them, so they're gonna need to perform. But I think across the rest of the board, I think it's in favor of COI, which is why I went with them. Pyrosis into KYB Cat. Pyrosis has been playing some really strong Camille. But, I mean, outside of Camille performing really well in the top lane regardless. Nightmare, been crazy good in the jungle. And then Tubby, do not give him Ari.
You mean
skinny with it?
You mean $500 skin?
He is very skinny with it. He eats, as Tubby would say. But I think here's why I went with the Gauntlet. Yes, KYB Cat is probably going to suffer pretty heavily against Pyrosis. Like, Pyrosis is probably going to pull out some cringe top lane, like some range carry Vayne. You can quote me on this, that it's probably going to happen. And then KYB Cat, he'll probably struggle, probably get solo killed a couple times. But I think that Heiko and Sai, or Boywife, Heiko, Sai, whatever you want to say, is going to steamroll the spot lane. Like, bless Steven, and bless Gamer D. But these are players that cannot handle aggression. Just
into
based
two
off
people
of my
who
experience.
love aggression.
Into giga aggression. Like, they're going to get killed. They're going to get double killed faster than they think. And it's not even about like skill. It's just about like the unexpected factor where, Heiko's the kind of guy to like all in level 1. Sai's the kind of person to, all in level 1. It's like, and if they're both on board with it, it's like, 2 psychopaths in the bot lane versus 2 people that are, just trying to survive. I think there's going to be just a huge discrepancy there.
Agreed.
Setup versus hi Brissy's cat. Setup versus Lord Tubbington. I think Tubby, even though he is like, mechanically and being very skinny with it, I think Setup and Lord Tubbington do have very similar play styles where they just play these mages. Setup specifically more supportive. I wouldn't say supportive, but like control mages. He's the 220 CS at 20-minute kind of guy.
Pretty much.
But I feel like that in that sort of lane, that Tubby will kind of adapt. And it'll just be like a farming lane, and the only kills would probably come from ganks if there's an opportunity. But it probably wouldn't happen against setup, because setup, from whenever I've played him, this guy like has a sixth sense about like knowing when to back up to not get ganked, even if he's not, even if it's not warded. Like, it's very from past experience. And then in terms of the jungle, yeah, you're probably right that my hot daddy is not favored, but I mean, they'll find something to put him on, and I think basically all that the Gauntlet needs to do is hold on, let setup farm. If he gets Victor, then it's not going to be fun for the other side of conflict of interest. And then I think Heiko and Sai are just going to steamroll bot lane, and doesn't matter what happens top lane, because top lane doesn't matter.
That's
pretty
kinda,
much, yeah.
It's kind of harsh, but I'm not saying you're wrong. But let's move on to our last series, BTS versus Feeders Anonymous, and everyone's going BTS, but Brissy, you got the wrong person on there.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
All right.
I'm gonna put this series in the hands of David. I think he's
David Believer.
And the sprinkler.
He's tired of how these games have been going. He may switch it up a little bit, but another reason I went with Feeders Anonymous is they did show a couple flashes in the series against Dognitas where they did have good communication, and they did have a couple really good team fights that had the chance to bring them back into a couple of those games. Like one where Azerthian, I don't know if he flashed in or what, but he got a 3-man ult in a dragon fight that turned the tides. It ended up with a World Soup quadra kill and a ton of damage coming out from David. So, I mean, they have the ability to perform, and I think if it's going to happen this season, it's going to happen this week. And so that's what I'm betting on.
Okay. You really picked... You think David's going to beat Sprinkler?
I think if anybody's going to win their lane in this game, it will be David.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Brissy, I'm going to have to disagree. But it's nothing against David. It's, again, I'm going to say this for probably the 7th time this podcast episode. It's going to be like Sprinkler picking out some range top lane, because David's going to pick Ornn or something. And then, it's like, it's not even like something where you're able to solo kill if you're the range top laner, because you're just kiting, you're avoiding,
right?
And you're just shoving in, and then you're recalling, and then you're just getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And I think it's just going to be this top lane differential where it's not even like a rank mismatch, it's just like the champions they play mismatch. And I think Sprinkler is just going to take advantage of that.
We'll see. David's going to play Darius and go 20-0.
If David, okay, I really hope David plays Darius. I'd love
that would
to see
be that would be interesting, actually, to see David Darius come out. So, but
or he'll do what Sprinkler did week 1, and he'll just play Kraken Slayer Shen. And
that was funny. Well, it was such a weird build too. It was like it was first by Deadman's into Kraken into like, I don't even remember, but that will end this episode of The Climb. Thank you once again, Brissy, for joining me this week, and PPP, thanks for coming back. We appreciate having you. Hopefully,
probably the last time you'll ever see me ever. After I get canceled for this episode.
Canceled? I mean, I could just lay you on next week if you want. I don't think.
No.
Oh, okay, got it. Tune in, folks, for PPP's cancellation. Well, that's the only thing we'll be talking about next week on The Climb. So
a separate episode for it.
Yeah, a separate episode. But once again, thank you all for watching, and catch us next week for the 5th episode of The Climb. See ya.